All right, so you want to dive into how universities are using AI. And I mean, really using it, going beyond just teaching AI as a concept.
Yeah, beyond the hype. How are universities actually building the future with AI, not just talking about it?
That's exactly what we're digging into today. Luckily, there's some really interesting new research out there to give us a framework.
Oh, is that right? What research is that?
It's a paper that lays out this AI maturity matrix, kind of a roadmap to see where universities actually stand when it comes to AI.
A matrix. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
intrigued. So how does that work?
So it looks at two main things. First, how universities are using AI in their everyday operations, like admissions or automating tasks, that sort of thing.
Makes sense, the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Exactly. But then the second thing they look at is how AI is being integrated into the curriculum, what students are actually learning.
Right, so it's about universities using AI themselves, but also preparing students to work with AI in the future.
Exactly. And for both of those areas, they've got these levels of maturity. Low, medium, and high. Makes you wonder where your alma mater would land, right?
It really does. What I think is particularly clever is how they highlight both using AI and teaching AI. Because it's not enough to just offer an AI ethics course, is it?
I see what you mean.
A university could be doing cutting-edge AI research, but if they're not applying any of that to improve their own operations, well, that's a problem, right?
Big time. And that's where this whole matrix idea gets really useful. It gives universities that starting point. Like, here's a snapshot of your current AI landscape.
Right, it's like holding up a mirror. And that kind of self-awareness is so important. You can't plan for the future if you don't understand where you are right now.
And that's what makes this metric so practical, right?
Right.
It's all about taking action. So how do they actually measure this whole AI maturity thing?
Well, they broke it down into 9 different categories, and they gave each category a really interesting name, which I like.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more about that.
So you've got categories like AI teaching experimenters, which are universities just starting out, maybe trying some basic AI tutoring systems. And then you've got the AI process experts who are all about using AI to streamline their operations.
Right. So like using chatbots to answer student questions 24/7, or even using AI to help with the admissions process, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Those are signs of a university really embracing the power of AI. But here's the thing. They tested this matrix out with 100 different universities.
Okay, and what'd they find? Don't leave me hanging.
Well, let's just say there's a lot of room for improvement. Over a third of the universities, they ended up in the classic alma mater category.
Classic in what sense?
Classic in the sense that they're barely using AI at all. Not in their operations and not even in what they're teaching. Which is a little surprising in this day and age, don't you think?
It's true. I mean, I know we don't want to say every university needs to become some AI powerhouse overnight, but surely there are some real consequences to falling behind on this.
Exactly. Because we live in a world that is becoming more and more driven by AI every single day. And universities really need to be equipping their graduates with the skills to actually thrive in that world. Otherwise, it's like showing up to a robot building competition with a toolbox in the Stone Age. You might have some great ideas, but you're not going to get very far without the right tools.
It's almost like we're seeing a digital divide emerging within higher education. Like on one hand, you've got these institutions who are really embracing AI, integrating it into everything from research to student support.
Yeah.
And then on the other, you've got these universities that are lagging behind, maybe even resistant to change.
Right.
It makes you wonder, what does that mean for their students' futures?
Absolutely. And it's not just about, keeping up with the latest technology just for the sake of it. This is about making sure students are truly prepared for a world where AI is going to be part of pretty much every industry.
Totally. And that's something that the researchers behind this matrix really emphasize, this idea that universities often focus on integrating AI into the curriculum first.
Yeah, which makes sense, right? Seems like a logical place to start.
It does. It seems a lot less daunting than, trying to overhaul your entire IT system. You just add a few courses on AI programming, maybe experiment with an AI tutoring platform.
Exactly. But what this matrix highlights is that it can't stop with the curriculum. It can't just be about teaching AI concepts. To truly prepare students, universities need to be using AI in a really sophisticated way in their own operations.
And they need to be transparent about it, right?
Yeah, 100%. Students should be able to see how their university is using AI, how it's benefiting them.
It's one thing to learn about AI in the abstract. It's another thing to actually see it in action in the real world, to understand its potential, its limitations, all of that firsthand. So we've talked about these 9 categories of AI maturity, and we've talked about how a surprising number of universities are still in those early stages. But the researchers didn't just stop there, did they? They went a step further.
They did, because they realized it's not enough to simply ask, is AI present? You have to ask, okay, but is it good AI?
That's a good point. Having AI doesn't automatically make it good AI. Like you could have a cutting-edge AI-powered learning platform, but if it's not pedagogically sound, if it's not designed well, then it's not going to be effective.
It's like having a state-of-the-art kitchen, but you don't know how to cook, right? You might be impressed by all the fancy gadgets, but you're not going to be eating very well.
Love the analogy. Okay, so how did the researchers actually measure the quality of AI integration in the matrix?
So they use this really intuitive traffic light system. Green, yellow, red.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Break it down for us. What does a green light university look like compared to, say, a red light university?
So green light universities, they're the ones using AI in a really smart, effective way, right? Like they've got all their systems in place. They're really thinking it through.
Exactly. It's not just about checking a box for them. They're thinking about the ethical implications. They've got a clear strategy in place.
It's not just a PR move for them. It's really integrated. And they're using AI to actually improve the student experience, which is the whole point, right? Whereas a red light university, that might be a university that's adopted a few AI tools, but maybe they're outdated. Maybe they haven't really thought about the implementation.
Or maybe the tools they're using are actually counterproductive. Who knows? It's like they bought this really fancy sports car, but they haven't actually learned how to drive it yet.
That's a great way to put it. They might look flashy on the surface, but they're not actually getting anywhere.
Not really moving the needle.
Exactly. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Just because a university has AI doesn't mean it's good AI, right? And that's why this whole qualitative assessment is so important. It's not enough to just look at whether AI is present. We need to be asking how it's being used. Is it being used responsibly, ethically? Is it actually helping students?
Right. Are they achieving what they set out to achieve?
Precisely. And that's the big takeaway from all of this. This AI maturity matrix, it's not just some abstract academic idea. It's a tool that universities can actually use.
Like a roadmap.
Exactly. It can help universities figure out where they stand right now, where they need to improve, and ultimately how to use AI in a way that benefits everyone. Students, faculty, the whole university.
It's a roadmap to the future of higher education, a future that has AI deeply embedded in it. And what I think is so interesting is that this roadmap, it doesn't just lead to one single destination. It's not like universities are all trying to achieve this perfect state of AI maturity and then they're done. It's an ongoing process. Universities need to constantly be evolving, adapting, learning new things.
Absolutely. And that's what makes it so exciting.
It really is. Well, I think we've successfully navigated our own deep dive today. We've unpacked the AI maturity matrix, looked at how universities are using AI, both in what they're teaching and how they're operating, and we've even touched on some of the ethical considerations, which are so important. If you want to learn more about this, you can find a link to the full research paper in our show notes. As always, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Keep those minds curious, and we'll catch you next time.